It has been great to kind of watch all these different happy groups come in and out of the building throughout the week. As you know, we are in the midst of this series on joy, and we have a whole bunch of book studies going on Matt Miofsky's book, Happy. So for those of you who are engaged in that, we're just thrilled, and we hope you're getting something out of that experience as you're thinking about and looking at the keys to happiness. So a few years ago, there was a series of commercials on TV for Allstate Insurance. Okay, you guys are all smiling out there. You know this, right? You've seen this guy, right? So this is the actor Dean Winters, and Dean Winters plays Mayhem in these Allstate commercials, right? So in this commercial, the one that you've got a picture of right here, this is Dean Winters, and he's in this pink SUV, and he says, "I am a teenage girl, and my BFF just kissed the boy that I like, and I'm emotionally compromised." And he's driving throughout the parking lot, hitting different cars as he's doing that to remind us that we all need Allstate insurance. In another one of these, Dean Mayhem is standing next to a dryer, and there's just dryer lint all over the dryer. And Dean's grabbing handfuls of this dryer lint and just shoving it back down the chute, the dryer lint chute, reminding us that if we don't have good insurance, that when this happens to us, we're going to be in trouble. In just a second here, I'm going to play two of these commercials, and they're kind of fun. One is where Mayhem is the blind spot, our blind spot, and the other of them is where Dean is a windstorm. And like I said, they're cute and they're fun, but here's what I want you to do while these commercials are playing. I want you to be paying attention to the voiceover at the end of the commercial. So the scene's going to stop, and there'll be a logo, the Allstate logo that comes up. But then I want you to pay attention to the voiceover, the taglines that happen there.
I'm a random windstorm. Shaky. Shaky, shaky, shaky. Shaky, shaky. And if you got cut rate insurance, you could be picking up this tab yourself. So get Allstate. You could save some cash and be better protected from mayhem like me.
Mayhem is everywhere. So get an Allstate agent. Are you in good hands?
Okay, so you didn't catch it the first time. We'll play another one for you. Here's go ahead. Go one more forward. There we go.
I'm your blind spot. And my job is easy. Hide big things. You're good. And with your cut rate insurance, you could be paying for this yourself. So get Allstate. You can save money and be better protected from mayhem. Like me.
Mayhem is everywhere. So get an Allstate agent. Are you in good hands?
Okay, so we get the tagline. So mayhem is everywhere, right? So we need to call in agent, right? And then the question is, are you in? There we go. Oh, there we go. Mayhem is everywhere. Get an agent. Are you in good hands is the tagline on this. Hold on to this idea. Hold on to these three thoughts, because we're going to come back to these in just a little bit. So our scripture today is actually a story of mayhem. This is a story where Jesus and his disciples got into one of these mayhem situations. They had been out in a large crowd, doing some teaching and some preaching and some storytelling with this large crowd. And as the day kind of was winding to a close, Jesus and his disciples knew that it was probably time to go. So they gathered up their things, and they decided to get into a boat and cross the lake to go to another side of the lake away from the crowd. So our scripture this morning is from Matthew 4:35 through 41. We'll pick up on that story. On that day, when evening had come, Jesus said to his disciples, "Let us go across to the other side." And leaving the crowd behind, the disciples took Jesus with them in the boat, just as he was. Other boats were with him. A great windstorm arose, and the waves beat into the boat so that the boat was already being swamped. But Jesus was in the stern, asleep on the cushion, and they awoke him. And they said to him, "Teacher, do you not care that we are perishing?" Jesus woke up, and he rebuked the wind, and he said to the sea, "Peace, be still." Then the wind ceased, and there was dead calm. Jesus said to them, "Why are you afraid? Have you still no faith?" And they were filled with great awe and said to one another, "Who then is this that even the wind and the sea obey him?" What a story, huh? What a story. For those of you who are on Sharing the Joy teams, you're familiar with this story. We've been using this story as part of your early training. It's been incredible to engage with you in this piece of scripture. I was thinking to myself as I was kind of working with this piece of scripture, boy, this would make a great Allstate commercial. This scene would make a great Allstate commercial. I can imagine Dean Winters not hanging off the side of a car like in this picture, but hanging off the side of the disciples' boats, saying, "I am the wind and the sea and the waves," as he's taking bucketfuls of water and just dumping them into the boat, trying to swamp the boat so that the disciples all know that they need good insurance. And then the scene would cut away at that point, and we'd get to see this tagline that comes up with this logo, which says that mayhem is right. So we need to get in, right? And then the question is, are you in good? Right. And then that would be the end of the Jesus and his disciples Allstate commercial. These commercials are such a good reminder that mayhem is unavoidable. Troubles are unavoidable. Circumstances are unavoidable. We are going to run into storms in our lives. That's just how life works. And if you think about how insurance works, we know this with insurance. We don't have insurance to actually prevent us from getting into difficult situations, right? Our insurance that we carry actually doesn't keep us out of rough times or difficult situations. Our insurance is actually there because we are going to get into difficult situations and rough times. That's how insurance works. That's why we have it. This is just going to happen to us. Mayhem is unavoidable. And our scripture story is a pretty good example of this. Here's Jesus and his disciples. All they're trying to do is get from one side of this lake to the other side of the lake. It's the end of a long day. They're tired. They've been with this crowd. They're looking for relief. So they get into this boat. There is nothing they could have done to prevent that storm from coming, because storms just happen. Now, there certainly are things, choices that we can make in our lives that help us live more securely and more safely. We know that. I don't want to make it seem like we don't have any control. We know that we have some control. If we park our cars in the garage instead of out on the street,